Welcome, gentlemen and ladies, to another episode of the Men on Form podcast. One half of your hosting team here, Coach Clive Micheal, alongside Sir Michael Hilton, also a fellow coach, as we all know. Michael, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good, my friend. How are you? Before you ask me, I'm going to ask you, what's the rumour?
Mate, there's a lot of rumours going around town, mate, in the world of personal development. The rumour is that me and you are two of UK's top upcoming coaches, my friend. Leading with my ego, mate. Got my Maverick helmet on. But we do have a very, I think, very interesting topic today. Something I've had experience of in the past and have seen in other people, and I've had it with my clients as well. And that's having all the answers, having all the answers, but not the results. I guess, this is something that you were talking about before we jumped on the call. Michael, what does that bring up in you? Where does that sit with you, mate?
So, man, I actually named it Bob, right? This is my analogy of it, and it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. Yeah, you know, you're looking to grow, you're looking to expand, you're always looking to improve in areas of your life. And you get some people that kind of take life like that. You've got others that kind of come from it like they do a little bit of work, get a bit of growth, and they think that's it, right? They're going to stop there. There's no more to be taken. Then you have the other school of thought, which is just, well, this is just the way I am. I know everything. I don't need to do anything about it. And I often joke about and call it Bob, but really I should change it from Bob to Michael, because that's the person that I used to be. Bob. You know Bob down the pub, right? You know Bob, the old guy that sits on the stool that's got the answers for everything. He's got the answers for everyone's problems. He knows what to do in your relationship, what to do in your business. Got all the answers.
He's done it all as well.
Yeah. But he hasn't got the results.
No,
right?
okay.
Hasn't got the results, right? So that used to be. So I always say that to people. I used to be Bob, but I'm just going to change your name to Michael next. It's easier because I used to sit down the pub and I had the answers for everyone's relationships when my relationship was in tatters. I'd tell people what was good to eat, what wasn't good to eat, where I was sniffing cocaine and pouring alcohol down my throat and I was fat and overweight, right? Eating McDonald's 16 times a day. Right? And I was broke, and I would tell people, you know, you got to start a business, you got to do this, got to do this. So I was that kind of guy. I had the mindset that I had the answers for everyone else, but if anyone tried to give me any feedback, I just wasn't interested. So that's kind of my approach. That's my idea behind it, Clive, like the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset. I've got all the answers, but I had zero results. And we're always brushing up against people like that in life, right? We're always brushing up against that with people that they ask you something, you kind of say, well, you know, maybe look at, I know that already. But there's a difference between knowing and actually getting the real world results in your life.
Yeah, and getting in there. Yeah.
That's kind of my perspective on it. What's your, Clive? I'd love to hear your, man.
I mean, I can definitely see some of myself in this, particularly from earlier years. I came into the pod with my ego firing. It's part of me. But yeah, very much when I was younger, I was a bit of a cocky shit sometimes, Michael. I did have potentially some of that about me, in the sense of I just felt that someone asked me a question. It was almost like I felt like I had to answer.
Yeah,
I had to at least.
That's brought back some memories.
That's what I mean. I had to answer. I had to convince, because I didn't want them to see. Because I felt when I was younger sometimes that me not having the answer would show me as being weak. And particularly around some of the personal development stuff, when I went quite heavy into that. I just spill this stuff out when people would ask me for advice or something like that. I'd say this, and this, and I'd know it, sort of conceptually know it, but I wasn't practicing it myself. And I hadn't had that much experience of it. I was just saying it was the current thing that I was reading, you know, the current sort of, you know, 7 ways of training, or 7 things you're doing, 9 ways to sort of, you know, change your career or something. It was all just filling space, really. And
regurgitating
information and information, things that I weren't actually practicing myself, or weren't maybe it's something I did once, Oh yeah, get up and meditate for 20 minutes every morning. I do that. And then when I was looking at it, it's like, oh no, actually I did it once last month. Like it's just wasn't coming from a place of authenticity. And I think, something that helped sort of pull me away from it a little bit is, I think I might have mentioned in earlier pods, Covey's 7 Habits of Effective People. There's quite a well-known book in the personal development world. If you haven't heard of it and you're looking for some
Never heard of it.
Well, if you're looking for some good information, if you're looking for some knowledge around personal development and you haven't got something in place, that's well worth starting with. And I am saying that from a position of strength because I've studied that book. One of the habits is first understand before being understood. So this is the idea we first need to learn the thing it is we're sharing and go through it ourselves before we then share it, right? And I think because that was one of those habits, and I sort of studied that and applied a lot of the theory in there. That really helped me, and so I've sort of come full circle there. But it's still, mate, it's still something I do today. Sometimes I'm not saying I've got absolutely lit myself. I do sometimes, particularly if I find myself in a situation that maybe it's somewhere quite new, or it's a new topic, or somewhere I'm a bit kind of feeling a bit uncomfortable. Like I will sometimes maybe have answers for anything that comes my way by way of sort of self-protection. I still have to check myself on it.
Why do you do that, do you think? Like, I know you said it's self-protection. What's
I think it's sort of, not
do you
wanting.
think it's like a programming that we get, that we should have all the answers?
I think maybe. I think again it's that sort of sign of weakness, or protecting that. It's something I do a lot. I think I do a lot less than I certainly used to. But I think particularly in new environments or in a group of new people, I might sort of give it the big I am a bit and sort of maybe feel like I'm just filling space. But I think I'm learning still, and especially in my coaching as well, that value of silence and checking, is there an answer to this? And actually I don't know, and I'll go and find out. But I think you're onto something in terms of, I think it is some sort of early neurowiring around, peers and school, and sort of developing that kind of, not looking, not looking weak, or like I'm less than or something.
I totally agree, man. I totally agree. That's a lot of. I love that what you said though. Like, if I didn't have the answer, I'd just make something up. If you said, like, people used to ask me things in the pub, if I didn't have the answer, I'd be like, just make something up, just randomly up, just fucking go to Mike. Mike's got all the answers. He ain't got no degrees.
When I've done that in the past, like in my head, I'm thinking, I think they're actually falling for this, especially in my many failed attempts of attracting women and sort of all of that stuff in the past.
Definitely, man, definitely. Yeah, I used to tell. Funny enough, but my old story back when we used to go out partying and all that, I used to tell women I was a dolphin trainer. That was my job. We all had assigned jobs that we had to tell the women when we was out and partying and all that. And mine was I was a dolphin trainer, so I had to make up a load of spiel about training dolphins and stuff.
I was a bouncy castle repairman.
What the fuck? That's not very glamorous.
Well, but it's edgy, mate. It got me, and I had a few of them I managed to convince as well.
Oh, I
and I was going, like bicycle repair kits. It's like that, but with bouncy castles, like bigger patches, but they still use the same glue. But it's just. I don't know how long I could drag this out.
I bet I put that bit of a bounce in your step when you're talking to the women, that way. Hey.
It was, yeah. I used to obviously. One of the other ones was like, I'm a bodybuilder. I haven't started building yet, but when I do, I'm going to be like big. You know what I'm saying? Like, stupid. But just what you're saying there. Like, I think also it wasn't always, or hasn't always been for me about having the answer. I think even sometimes, like, if someone's got an answer, I think, oh, that's pretty good. I need to have a better answer than that. Like, it can be a bit of a competition vibe, an unhealthy one. In some of my past experiences as well. So, and I have seen it the more I've become aware of it, I've obviously observed it in other people as well, and I can sometimes sort of see when someone is sort of winging it, or just trying to not actually show they don't really know what they're doing.
Yeah. I had that experience earlier, man.
Yes, you did. I know. Yes.
Earlier. So what would nowadays, like when you're so nowadays it's very different for you. So obviously you're a lot more open-minded. So you know, when someone's saying stuff to you and that, are you at a place now where you're open-minded and you take it on board, and then kind of run with what works for you and what doesn't? Have you opened your mind up to that now? Like not having, because what I'm trying to say is like having all the answers. If you've got all the answers to everything, then you don't need to listen to what anyone else has got to say, because you've got all the fucking answers. So where are you at now with it, Clive? Where are you at now? Are you open-minded for other people's suggestions and people pointing stuff out to you now?
Definitely, yeah. I think my sort of radar for bullshit has increased significantly over the years, especially operating in the sort of coaching, personal development world, because there is a lot of that around. And also, spending, I'm a people person. That's why I coach. One of the reasons I coach, and just being around people a lot and being in deep conversations a lot and spending a lot of time in coaching and being coached and in men's groups. And I just sort of, I can just sometimes sort of feel like it's almost like a bit of a radar. Sometimes, when you have that conversation and you sort of feel maybe something's a bit off, like it's a bit like, do you know what? That's almost too good to be true. Or they're saying that, but I'm noticing they're sort of keep sort of touching their forehead or shifting a bit weird in their chair or something. And the other side to it as well, and something I was going to sort of ask you, I mean, what about for you, before I sort of come on to another element to this?
No, I know everything, mate. I don't need to know anything else, mate. I'm the cleverest man you'll ever meet.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, definitely, Clive. Definitely. Like I shared this with you at the beginning. Like, I downloaded an audio last week, and it was like 3 hours long, and it was about business, right? Growing your business and expanding your business and stuff like that. And I kind of reached out to the guy, me and the guy have had some interactions, and he just like pointed out things where within my business and what I'm doing where it's absolutely flawed and it's not working, right? And let's go back to all those years. Let's go back as little as 5.5 years ago. I wouldn't have done that, because I'd want people to think that I was doing well, and I wanted people to think that I had all my shit together, right? And this guy kind of pointed some stuff out, and I just sat back and I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like, fuck, like there's a lot of stuff there that he said that I didn't think about, that's very true, and I need to work on that. So everything I've come to now, Clive, is always from a growth mindset. Even like I received an email a little while ago from a guy saying basically the free audio training that he downloaded for me, basically he thought it was shit. I was entitled, I didn't have a hard life, I'd created all these problems myself, and then he said to me, like, convince me to I listened to 5 minutes of it. You need to convince me why to listen to the rest of it. And I sent him an email back. Like, my first initial reaction is like, you cheeky fucking prick, right?
Okay.
And then I sat with it, and then I sent him an email back a few hours later when I thought about it, because I thought, well, maybe there is some truth in that, right? Because I want to look at what I can take from it that's going to help me grow. And I sent him an email back. I said, my friend, if you don't jive with what I'm talking about, that's absolutely fine. I hope you find what you're looking for. Because he said in there as well, I really thought you was going to be the person to help me. I said, I hope you find what you're looking for, man. Thanks for your feedback. And I took that feedback as like, maybe that is true, where 5 years ago, I would have just sent him an email back saying, fuck off, you prick. Something like that. I would have just fuck off. Because I was at a part in my mindset that, well, I know best, right? But I'm just at a point now where it's like, everyone has got something that you can take from it and use.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean, like, if you're talking to Bob or the old Michael, and I'm sitting there telling you how's your relationship, how's this, I'm going to get curious to know, well, what results do you have in your life? Is your relationship happy? Well, no, it's not. But if you do this, then I'm not interested in that. Do you know what I mean there, Clive?
Yeah, I think we're going too Yoda about this, but like sometimes the answer isn't an answer, it's a question. That makes sense. So sometimes if someone's asking you something, if someone's asking me something in the past, I would have like, right, I need to find an answer to this.
Yeah.
And the actual answer is actually like, well, is a question. I mean, as coaches, that's our, I mean, powerful questioning is our like 101, like, how we operate. And so the more, what I'm finding is actually sometimes the what would have been an answer before is actually a question, because you're then sort of pinging that back to them. So they're saying, you know, I've got a question for Clive, you know, how do I lose 10 pounds? And the question then might be to them like, well, I don't have the answers to that for you specifically, but you know, what will losing £10 bring you, or do you know what I mean? It's like a, because how do I know what the right answer is for him?
Yes.
In that way, because I'm putting it through my own filter, if that makes sense. Not to say that there isn't a place for the mentoring hat and some advice.
Of course.
This is something that worked for me and you might be able to use. I mean, me and you share quite a bit like that, and that's really useful. But there's sort of sometimes the actual better, the response that is the kind of
empowering the other person,
empowering the other response is a question. And I mean, this is a quote I really like, and it's something that I think I may be a Tony Robbins one, but I mean, you know, like the quality of life you get. This is one you'll like this, right? The quality of life you get is the questions you ask, the boundaries you set, and the football team you support.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. That's just fucking fucked the whole podcast.
I don't know why, but let me just pull. Whoa.
The quality of your life is determined by the quality of questions you ask yourself.
There you go. We'll just leave that bottom line. I didn't have to do the other two.
Get the football out of it. I don't like football anymore.
Get the football out anyway. Okay, let's just focus on that. Yeah. So that's where that's something that particularly in the last few years I'm starting to sort of resonate with more.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've got he was an old client of mine, and he's currently going through some shit, and we've been over some interactions just on Facebook Messenger, and basically like his relationships, you know, it's basically over, and he's like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, dude, I haven't got the fucking answer for you. The only answer I have is you need to continue
what do you want to do?
Like work on yourself. That's the most important thing, because you work on yourself. You know, when you get into the next relationship, you're not going to be the same person. That's the only thing I can say. But with regards to trying to win back your partner, what do you think you need to do?
There you go, yeah.
I haven't got the answers for that, man. It's easy for me to go, right, what you need to do is go around there on your hands and knees and beg for her to come back.
Yeah.
Right? I could easily say that. But it's about finding out what's best for you in this. But one thing I always say is the most important thing is you continue to work on yourself and your mindset to become a better man, better husband, better father. And if the relationship doesn't work out, then you're going to still be a better person. But as regards to getting back your wife, what do you think you need to do in the sense to do that, to win her back over? Because I ain't got the answers for that.
No.
I haven't got the answers.
But
for
in
that.
the past, you might have done, and I might. Oh,
fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah, right. You need to get that. You need to lose 10 pounds, get down the gym, get some ridiculous job, do this, do that.
Yeah.
To like manipulate her. All of that.
Tell her. Here's one. I would have got him to send her a text and say, look, I'll be the man that you want me to be. Right? I see a friend of mine that done that a little while ago. We're splitting up, and I looked at the text and I was like, man, what was you thinking sending that? I'll be the man you want me to be. I went, what about being the man that you want to be, mate? You fucking hell, to be the man that you want. I was just like, that's
a recipe for problems a bit further down the line, should we say?
Man, I definitely the whole kind of mindset of thinking, like, I like this, Clive. This is what I like. If I'm in a room and I'm the smartest person in the room, I want to spend time in a room where I'm not the smartest person, because then I'm learning. I want to learn from people, right? I've been reading a lot about like values and that lately and all that. And it's something that a mentor of mine, Dr. John D. Martini, says. He says your values come from your voids. And I'm very hungry now for knowledge and learning stuff and all that, because when I was at school, I didn't. And I didn't know how to study, didn't know how to learn, right? So, learning this stuff and constantly like growing, it's important for me, it's high value. That's why I always get round people that are smarter than me, that are further down the road for me, because I get to learn from that, man. I get to learn where I'm going wrong, what I need to tweak. Do you know what I mean? And I had a guy that
you don't have all the answers.
No.
In that environment, you don't
No.
have all the answers. So you're
No.
then obviously, you're finding new answers, aren't you? But from a resonant place, I suppose.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
I think the moment you tell yourself you've got all the answers, you're in a bit of trouble, man. Long term. That's just my humble but accurate opinion.
That's your answer to that conundrum. Just quickly, what is as I say, I'm planting it here because I've got my own angle on this. This is something that I do. Sometimes my wife's picked up on this, that if I want to talk about something, this is something I'm guilty of. If I want to chat about something, or I've got a clever answer to something, I'll then ask her the question, so I can then later on get my answer in, because it's so brilliant.
I've got listen, everyone. I've got all the answers for my wife. Let me just say that. I've got all the answers for my fucking wife. God. I know what's best for my wife. So
that's something I'm guilty of, and it's something I'm going to do here, because it is something that I'm going to answer afterwards. So I'm projecting this on you, but I do think it's relevant, and I do think it's useful. Will be useful for the listeners. So what is the impact of having all the answers? So at that time, and I'm talking from experience, you have the answers, you spew them out. What is the other stuff? Why not? Like, what's the damage?
For me, the damage to having all the answers is not being in a place, not coming from a place of still being so if you've got all the answers, you're constantly going to be the teacher, right? You're constantly going to be the teacher. If you're kind of like, okay, I know some shit, but I don't have the answers to everything, then you come as a student. And that's how I like to come to anything, any conversation with people or talking to people is coming as a student. Long term, why are you going to, if you're struggling in your life, let's just talk specifically men that are struggling in their life, and they've got that belief system that I've got all the answers, but they're not getting the results in their life. They're stressed, they're anxious, they're out of shape and all that. Why are you going to go and ask someone else to help you? You won't. So you're going to struggle in silence by yourself. That's the downfall of that. And that's what I'd done for fucking years with my drinking, with my drugs, in my business 5.5 years ago. All that. I suffered in silence and struggled and made things so much fucking harder in my life than it needed to be. Instead of just going, do you know what? I don't know everything. I know some shit, but I don't know everything because I'm not getting the results that I want in these specific areas of my life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I like that.
That's why I'm just always open-minded and learning from people, because, there might be someone that's got a fucking amazing relationship, Clive, but there might be shit at business. So I'm not going to ask them about business. I'm going to be very like, okay, well, how have you been married for 40 years? How's your relationship so fucking good and dig and pick? And, because these people have embodied it. They've not got an idea. They're actually living it. That's the important thing for me, is people living it, And I actually had an experience with a friend of mine that said that to me. He was asking me about what I do. And he said, and he's a guy, and he said to me, listen, he said, I would never go to anyone for any help or advice, because I'm the one that fixes everyone else's problems. I've got the answers. Now, his relationship wasn't good. He was overweight. He didn't earn a lot of money, right? And I observed that, and I was like, man, okay, that's cool. If that's how you want to live life, there's nothing wrong with that. But do you not think by asking people or getting around people, because he's got more of a vested interest in being the most smartest man in the room, and that's cool, man, if you want to do that. But for me, I don't want to be. I want to constantly learn and grow, man, because there's always areas of my life that I can get better at,
Yeah, I like that idea, the way you said, like, if you've got all the answers, you're essentially blocking yourself from being the student, because you're not then going, well, I don't have the answers, and actually I'm going to go and find out. I think the thing for me is that lack of authenticity. I think there's times earlier in my life when I thought I've sort of got away with that one, and it's caught up with me further down the line. So I think if I have all the answers, then I leave myself maybe open to some being exposed, because then someone sees that actually I didn't have all the answers, or at least what I actually said was rubbish, because they then observe that actually I'm not applying what it is I said. There's, you know, like you said, for me to say, oh, you should do this, you should do that, and then not be doing it myself. There's a what's it called? Like it doesn't add up. It doesn't connect.
Lack of authenticity, isn't it?
Exactly. It just shows a lack of authenticity and a lack of maturity, I think.
Yeah.
For want of I think that's the biggest damage. And then as a result of that, you know, you lose people. People lose trust in you, and
you lose trust in yourself.
And you don't get. People don't trust your answer when you do have the right answer, which sometimes you might have a really useful answer for something. People might not trust what it is you're saying, because he's always got all the answers, and I don't trust him. And you actually might have a really good answer to something, if that makes sense. So
you lose trust with yourself as well, man. Like,
yes,
five and a half years ago, when I was in the health and nutrition thing, I'd be to people, you know, like I put this persona out that I was squeaky clean with my nutrition and food, right? And then what I would do is I'd go up to the shop, buy a load of, not shit chocolate, but I'd buy like chocolate rice cakes and this expensive chocolate, sneak it into my office, shut the door, pull the blinds down, and sit there stuffing my fat fucking face with stuff like that. But then I'd be telling my clients, no, you're not to do that. You've got to eat clean and all that. And that was, you know, I look back on it now, that was my downfall. And what happens is you break that trust down with yourself. That's the most important thing first, because you know the man that's looking back at you in the mirror is a fucking liar. That's it, man. You know, so, you know, I've got all the answers, but I ain't preaching it myself, you know, so,
But I still, as I say, I'll own this. It's still something that can blindside me. It's because it's so deeply in my neuro wiring, particularly from, childhood and sort of being a smart ass, or thinking I was being a smart ass. When
being
I was
recovering smart ass.
Mate, trust me. Anyway, so do you ever just draw into the end of the episode? Is there anything you want to add, sort of bottom line, any takeaways, if this is something, listeners, if this is something that is showing up in your life, sort of where to take it, what would you advise?
What would I advise? It's just, you know, there's nothing wrong with not having all the answers. That's it. There's nothing wrong with it. Like think of this, would you rather be right, or would you rather be happy? You know, like, if I've got to be right all the time, or I've got to have all the answers all the time, I'm generally going to be happy. Because I'm bullshitting most of the time. I'm making stuff up. I just rather want to be open-minded and just learn from people and take bits and apply it into my life. And like what you said earlier, is that Stephen Covey quote. That's what my coach has already said to me. He said, you take it, you live it, you embody the experience.
Have to.
And then teach people. You know.
Yeah. We have to go through the hero's journey ourselves. As coaches, like, I know me and you, we're constantly looking and growing and training and constantly putting ourselves through different experiences for the betterment of our clients, because we can then coach from a place of authority and experience, because we've actually walked the path.
I could coach you on how to become a millionaire, but that would be a big disingenuine, because I've read books and I know what they talk about and I know what they say, but I'm not a millionaire. But if you want to talk to me about struggling with stress and anxiety and overwhelm, or you're drinking too much in your relationship, I've got an embodied experience of turning my life around from that. So I've got full confidence, the same as yourself, Clive, in areas of...
You had a mid-20s crisis, struggled returning from travel, or finding career, or becoming a father, or transitioning career, all that stuff. It's all there, embodied.
Embodied. What's your parting words?
I think there's two sides to it as well. There's having all the answers and being a person that's just taking all the answers as face. What's it called? Face value, yeah. Because there's a damage to that. So first of all, find your own answers, and a good way of doing that is to get a coach who's going to ask you some powerful questions and authentically listen to you and do all that good stuff. And the second thing is to watch how you might feel, how you might be feeling after. Just watch yourself when someone's asking you questions, you are answering unauthentically, because you'll feel it in your body when you're not being authentically, you're authentically answering a question, and you're sort of self-protecting. Use silence, take a pause, and it's easier said than done. It's a practice, I think, this.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, take a second. Someone asks, just take a second or two. And also, I don't have all the answers, so.
Well, I do.
And you don't have all the answers.
I do.
It's a practice. It's a practice. But I mean,
if you want to know anything, if you want to know anything, you know who to reach out to. Not Clive. The answers.
Yeah, getting a coach and just being mindful, just keeping an eye on yourself. Is not a bad place to start. So, but I don't have all the answers. But I have some powerful questions. Right. So yeah, that kind of closes off the episode. Good to dive in. I think we've only got one more thing to say, really, Michael, unless you've got any additionals.
No, well, I probably have got additionals, but we haven't got another half hour. So yeah. Well, what is? Go on.
I've got some additionals, Michael. Where do people find you? What's going on with your business at the moment? If they want to start a conversation.
Best place to probably go, it would be message me on Facebook. Is I am at Michael Hilton. I am Michael Hilton on Facebook page. Not on my personal profile, because I probably won't. I don't go on there much. Just on my page. You can reach out to me by email, michael@michaelhilton.com, Micheal. And you can go to my website, michaelhilton.com. I'm just in the process of updating it and changing it around. But yeah, head on over to there.
Cool.
Yep. What about yourself, Clive? Where can
you find me over at www.mensactionproject.com. The map, that's www.mensactionproject.com. All of my stuff's on there. Working with guys struggling with challenges around underwhelm and overwhelm, bringing them rebalancing back towards balanced living. Offer a 45-minute coaching taster session, complimentary as part of my service. All the information is on there. If you need to contact me, you can contact me through the site as well. So, and I'm on all the usual socials at Clive Micheal. So, lots of touch points.
Mm-hmm. Good, man. Good stuff.
Nice one. All right, buddy. So, one final thing to say to all of our listeners out there, and that is, if you're off form,
get back on form.
And if you're on form,
stay on form.
Do and be well all.
Bonnie the douche.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the show, we invite you to leave a positive review on the platform you're listening on. If you'd like to get in contact with us regarding anything that came up in the episode, you can email us directly at menonform@gmail.com.